Hey everybody, and a very big, warm, happy Thursday. Welcome to you. I hope you're great. I hope you're having a really good week. I wanted to pop on really quickly and have a bit of a chat to you about a conversation that's come up 3 times in my client conversations this week. And that is the concept of your business being separate to you as an individual. So the business having its own identity and you being totally separate to that. So naturally, we start out running our businesses. It's typically just us. We start out as, solopreneurs, I think is the term that everybody's calling it these days. But we all start out running a business and it's usually just us. And from there we grow and we grow to bringing other people on. And at first when we bring people on, we all naturally tend to act in a way like this person is coming on board to help me do something. And from there, we have this evolution to the people. The team are no longer there to help you, but the team are there to work in a business to achieve the business goals. And it's as we transition that we need to change our mindset around the team, the people who are working around us, that they're not there to help you out as a person. They're there because the business has certain requirements and certain things that it wants to achieve, and therefore it needs certain people to make that happen. And so what we need to do is we need to shift our thinking from being it's me, I happen to be in business for myself and these people are here to help me, to I'm me as an individual. The business is there and it's separate, it's its own entity. I am the CEO of that entity and it's my job as the CEO to find people to help the business achieve its goals. So sure, as the CEO, as a business owner, you'll probably set the goals and you'll have a great idea around what sort of return you want on the investment that you're putting into the business. But the business is not you and you are not your business. So you're two very separate things. And when we're not clear on this, so the effect of not being clear on this is that when we're having performance management or in performance improvement conversations, or when we bring people into the business and they're not doing quite what we want them to be doing, if we're thinking about people helping us out as individuals and people working for us as individuals, then typically what we do is we tend to find, when they're not quite performing or they're making mistakes or they're doing things wrong, it tends to feel very personal and we make it very personal. So the way to shift out of that, everything feeling personal, I should say, because with things feeling personal are the emotions that come with that. We can tend to get really triggered really easily. The way to shift yourself out of that is to sort of step back and say, well, this person isn't helping me out. This person works for the business, my business, but the business, and you've got a brand name. And the business requires somebody to do X, Y, and Z. And the business requires somebody to do X, Y, and Z in a certain way and produce certain things for the business to be able to go from this point to that point. So when we shift our mindset from this person is working for me and they're helping me out and I'm hoping they'll do this, to the business needs somebody who can do X, produce Y, so that the business can move forward, then suddenly it's much less personal. Suddenly it's less about how you feel, it's less about how it makes you feel if somebody does or doesn't do something, and it's a lot more objective. It becomes, instantly linked back to the business goals, instantly linked back to something objective, so almost like a third person or a third thing that is not you or them. It's actually, well, this is what the business needs. So, one of the biggest things when it comes to managing people and being an inspiring leader is inspiring and tapping into and explaining our why. So a really great way to explain what the business needs and what the business needs somebody on your team to produce is to link it into why it's important. So we can start to think about, externally, we want clients to feel a certain way when they interact with our business. And that's why it's important that you do your job in a certain way. That's why I want you have to, exhibit a certain behavior. So for example, if you think of me, that is the brand of my business, if somebody was to come in and start working with me and doing this external role where they were hopping on video and talking to you, then they would need to be really smiley, because that's part of my brand and the way I want people to feel after they're engaging with me is upbeat and happy. So that becomes a behavior or a how that I need people to do when they work with me. And the reason I would need them to do it is because for the business to grow, to go from this point to that point, I need other people coming and being smiling, sharing information, offering training, for example. So it's less about whether the person's smiley enough and whether the person's good enough on camera, but it is much more about the business requirements. So the business requirements, what do you need somebody to do, and how do you want them to do it? And how do you want people to feel when they interact with your brand? How do you want people to feel when they interact with your business? And those how statements, that list of hows that you'll start to come up with, will start to be your culture that you're creating in your business. So when you start to require people in your team to act in a certain way and do things in a certain way, it becomes the way your business does things, and that becomes the culture. Both your external culture that people can feel and experience when they work with you, and also your internal culture, which is the way you want your team to interact. So today's video is all about separating out yourself as an individual to your business and starting to think of your business as its own entity, its own thing, and elevating yourself so that you're the CEO of that business, the CEO of that business whose job it is to do everything they need to do to support the business to move forward. And that includes finding people that the business needs who can produce certain results that the business needs to move it forward. So I hope that's been helpful today. I hope that helps to depersonalize some of the conversations you might be having, or some of the conversations you might be thinking about having with people that maybe are working with you on your team at the moment, or people that you'd like to work with you. So when we start to get really clear on what the business needs and what your role is as the CEO of the business, pushing the business forward, it helps us to get really objective around setting really great goals, setting really great, success parameters for anybody that joins the team, and also it becomes easier to articulate the way we want somebody to come and work within our business. So it also helps when we're hiring new people on the team. So spend a little time thinking about that. Separate yourself as the business is not you. You are not your business. You're the CEO of your business, but the business is its own living, breathing entity. And so what does your business need to go forward? And what does the business need you to do to push it forward? Towards your big dreams, to achieving those big things that you know that it's capable of. I hope that's been helpful, and I will see you guys soon.